Welcome back to another episode of Missing Pieces here on the Greg's World Podcasting Network, if that's what it is. This is where I talk about what I'm up to and what I'm into typically, but not today. Today I've got a special episode for you to make up for last week, because you may have noticed that there was no episode last week, and I apologize for that, but I have a good excuse. We were actually in Italy at the time, which you probably already know if you've been following the Greg's World content. I've been editing videos up and trickling those out each day. In fact, I have to edit one today to get ready for tomorrow, and you'll have videos every day on that channel for like the next 9 days or so, outlining our entire trip. But if you don't want to wait that long, maybe you want to know all about our trip right now, this is the perfect episode for you, because just prior to this, I decided that as a family, we would just sit down and talk all about our trip, reflect on all the things that we've been through, the things we liked, the things we observed, things we didn't like, all of the behind the scenes, I suppose, all of the things that you may want to know if you were planning to go to Italy, or if you're just looking for something to listen to here on your hour-long commute or your workout, or maybe you're doing the dishes, making your bed, whatever it is. This will be a great episode to multitask to, because I recorded this just audio only. It's just us vibing, having a little family conversation. Clark Man's involved too, which instantly got people interested. Cody's there. So this is not just me this time. This is our whole family just sitting down and having a little convo, if you will, about all of the things that we did on our trip. And it turned out really nice. It's about an hour long, so you might want to, find something to do and then listen in to us enjoying our reflections on all the things that we got up to in the last 2 weeks in Rome, Florence, and Venice. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as last, you'll hear from me. Well, at least, in this essence here, you'll be hearing from me in the recap. Anyways, enjoy the listen. If you want to listen to this on audio podcast, you can do that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those places if you prefer that, or you can just watch this blank screen on YouTube as we talk about our trip. Enjoy, and stay tuned for all the epic episodes that'll be coming out there. You actually get to see all the things that we're about to talk about. Take care, and I'll see you guys next Sunday for, I guess, probably a regular episode. Still, as still as possible.
Stillness.
Because we're going to be talking about our Italy trip and how awesome it was. So we have our itinerary out here, and we're just going to kind of go down through each day and talk about each day, which you'll see in a bunch of YouTube videos, some of which have already been out as of the time we're recording this. But it's kind of like behind the scenes too, and some extra additional thoughts that you can't cram into a fast-paced 15-minute video, if that is fast-paced. So where did we start out at? We got in the car. Mm-hmm. Which, speaking of that, one of our listeners, Ronnie, mentioned that he really loved the look that you gave me when I didn't lock the door. I was like, that's the classic wife glare.
Yes, you've received that many times.
I know that face well. But we left here and we drove to Philadelphia with a little concern. What happened, Clark, man? Why were we concerned when we were driving there? Do you remember what happened to the road?
It broke.
Yeah. There was a truck exploded and knocked out a part of I-95, which we drive on.
Tanker truck or something.
Melted the road, but we didn't have any issues because we weren't on that.
Yeah, thank goodness we weren't on that section of the road.
So
we were able to avoid that.
Yeah, so we only stopped once. We got some Annie Ann's.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
Me.
I'm glad it was yours, because it would have been mine. And
yeah, once we got to the airport, like everything was pretty much smooth sailing. Our flight wasn't delayed, so that was really nice.
Yes.
the new parking situation that we have is incredible.
Yeah.
Like we used to go to the hotel, and then they would shuttle us.
Parking spot.
We got the parking spot. I set it all up. They have an app. You like self check in, and they literally drive the truck to your car.
And they drove by right when we got there and parked, and it was just like perfection.
Literally,
really cool.
To the back of our car. They came over and hauled our stuff in, and everything was incredible. So that's our new place. Was $200 to park your car there for 2 weeks, but it is what
That's
it
the
is.
trade-off, I
You
suppose.
gotta do it somewhere.
And they give you a water bottle when you come
you leave.
back.
Yeah. You can take.
And that's always nice because you're like dying of thirst by the end.
Yep.
By the end of the journey. So yeah, that was really nice. Other than I completely spaced out during my packing process. I think I was just overwhelmed with everything, and I forgot about the liquids rule, which is such a noob move. I'm beat myself up over that, but
Yeah, we thought you were just getting checked
yeah,
again.
so I had to go back through security a second time, but you know, oh
Your
well.
bag always gets checked.
It does.
Every time.
Every travel adventure I do, it always gets checked. Not for the reason that it happened this past time. This was the legit reason. But
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just always something. But
Yeah, we were like making a joke about
well.
it, and then all of a sudden you're getting escorted back to
Yeah,
security again to
yeah.
check your bag,
Like-
which we kind of learned on this trip that checking your bags is like so much nicer than.
It is convenient not having to roll around luggage and stuff, but I always just get so nervous about, oh my gosh, what if we don't get our bags?
It causes me a great deal of stress with the overhead compartments in airplanes. And anybody that's listening to this, if you've ever flown before, you know what that's like, where you're trying to get on the plane as quick as you can because you're worried that all of the compartments are going to be taken. And having 3 carry-ons adds a lot to that stress.
Yeah.
And luckily, we only had one that day. And when we got on, there was literally space for one item because our spots had already been used by the time we got
Right.
on the plane.
Yeah, because we're always towards the back.
We're like group 6 and 7. And they do want to charge you to upgrade.
Yeah, they
You can
do.
get on earlier if you
Oh,
want
yeah.
for more money, but
It's funny you say that because I just got an email that I've earned enough mileage that my reward can be group 5.
wow, you can get on like 3 seconds sooner. That's your reward. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I mean, you make jokes about airlines not being generous, but like on the plane, the food.
Yeah, the food was actually tasted decent. I don't think the ingredients were very good, but the food was tasty.
Yeah, we were having this conversation on the way back about how American Airlines like has cheap, good food figured out. You know, good food for cheap.
Yeah.
And we were wondering like why the Punta Cana place, the whoever owns all of those resorts can't do something similar like with
I
the
know.
buffet.
It's pretty sad that the airplane food was better than our trip to Punta Cana and the all-inclusive resort there.
Literally was, which is just
I know.
crazy.
It is insane to
That being
think
said,
about.
you know,
But oh well.
I won't speak for myself, but you're a little picky when it comes to food.
I'll admit that. I am.
And I'm sure
I
we
like good quality ingredients.
We'll be talking a lot about our Italy food here as we go on, but that's the flight. We slept on the plane quite a bit.
Yeah. I feel like we all, well, I can't say you guys did because you both took a nap when we got to the hotel.
Oh, I was.
But I
wrecked.
was revved up, raring to go.
Yeah, because there is a 6-hour time change. So when we went there, we moved ahead 6 hours, right?
Right, yeah.
So we left at like 6 p.m.
Yeah, it
On
was
an 8-hour
6:45 at night, and then we arrived there around 9 a.m. their time.
But it was only an 8.5-hour flight. So it was really like 14 hours had moved, but only 8 had.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a full night of sleep. So when we got there, our hotel was wonderful, by the way.
Oh yeah,
steps
We
away
stayed
from
at
the Colosseum.
the Palm Suite, which is right between the Colosseum and the Roman Forum. And we had a view of the top of the Roman Forum. Not a really good view like I was hoping for, but you know, it's not a big deal. I absolutely loved the room that we had. It was so gorgeous, and the decorations. I just love the arches in the stone, and it was just absolutely beautiful. And they were so nice and so accommodating. I just really appreciate the sincerity that they seem to care, and yeah, just overall, like there was sparkling wine, some prosecco when we got
and
there.
there should be, because it was kind of like a luxury resort.
Yeah, it was a
I know we have some
four-star hotel, I think.
We do have
It
some
had really good reviews.
some sleuths go on. I've learned this through comments. They go on and check out the places we stay just to see what the cost is and stuff like that.
Oh,
So, you know, you could find out like more about it if you wanted to there. But yeah, like I felt like it was really nice. It was convenient.
very, very convenient.
It met and or exceeded my expectations for it.
yeah, it was. I mean, my only complaint about it was there was like no counter space in the bathroom.
But that's always your complaint.
Not always. Some places are really good about it. But yeah, I mean, that was.
Oh yeah, I had like my
Which is not a
deodorant and
big
like
deal.
my razor like in the bedroom because
Yeah,
you
like
know,
yeah, there's literally no space.
it didn't really bother me, and the view didn't bother me either. I spent zero time like sitting there
Oh, yeah.
looking out
we
the
were,
window.
We were out and about, and
You want the
just
view, walk
enjoying-
out the front door, turn left, and
Oh
look
my
at the
gosh.
Colosseum.
Yeah, the Colosseum being right there
Yeah.
was a huge convenience.
Which was cool.
Yeah, so I loved the stay there. It was incredible. They were great, and it was very convenient to walk around everything. So
Mm-hmm.
when we got there, the driver, he came a little too early, so he actually, it sounded like he had to leave and then bring the car back around. So we had to wait a little bit, but he was super nice and apologetic, and it was no big deal. We, we got there. The room was ready ahead of time, which was incredible. So that way we could go and these boys could take a nap, and I can unpack and do my little nesting, as I say.
Oh yeah, she's all about like as soon as we get in somewhere, it's like got to get everything out and unload it and stuff. I'm just like I'm going to sleep.
I gotta get my living space organized and arranged.
Yeah, but then after that, after we woke up, it was a pretty epic day.
I had to wake them up. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, we spent all this time and money. I'm like, I want to go explore.
You woke me up twice on this trip. The next day, I think you woke me up. But before we get to that, we went on a sightseeing tour of all the amazing things in Italy that afternoon.
Yes.
And it was amazing to me how we were able to hit all these spots in a short period of time, it seemed.
Yeah, because I brought up everything. When I'm doing my planning, I bring up everything on Google Maps, and I punch in the address to our hotel, and I look and see the proximity of how close everything is. So like the Trevi Fountain was a 16-minute walk, the Pantheon was an 8-minute walk from the fountain, and then Piazza Navona was a 4-minute walk from the Pantheon, and I just get everything all mapped out there.
We did make a new move, though. Clark was hungry. I think I was hungry, too, always. And we just stopped at a random pizza place along the way that
Yeah,
wasn't...
because we didn't have anything substantial to eat, and
Yeah.
I know we had a bunch of walking to do, so I wanted to. You guys needed fueled up.
It wasn't very good, but
No.
it was okay. But I learned then to start checking Google reviews, and
Definitely.
later in our trip, that ended up paying off handsomely with a lunch spot we went to and a gelato place that we went to as well with sandwiches and desserts. So that was good. But that was a pretty solid day. What was our dinner that night? I couldn't remember. No, that's all we did. We didn't really have a...
Yeah, we were pretty full then. Then we went to the Frigidarium for some gelato, which is
Yeah.
a place I scoped out ahead of time that had good reviews, and it was delicious.
It was good. What were your thoughts, first impressions of Rome? Like when we first got there, my thoughts were like, wow, there's a lot of graffiti here.
Oh my goodness, a lot of graffiti.
None of it's good either. It's like,
No.
sometimes you see graffiti that's like, even if it's just someone's name, it looks cool. This
Yeah.
is just like, I ran up, scribbled something, and ran away. And every surface that you can imagine has graffiti on it. If it's a spot that you could put graffiti, it's graffitied.
Yes, a lot of smells of urine, and
Not in Rome. That was Florence.
No. There was urine in Rome.
I missed that.
No, Florence was sewer.
Sewer, okay.
That was a sewer
I didn't smell any urine, but
And some fecal droppings throughout both cities.
welcome to Europe.
Yeah. That's like major cities. I guess you just have to anticipate them being a little dirty and gross. Very crowded. It was much more crowded and narrow, not pleasant for walking whatsoever in Rome.
Lots of cars and lots of people, which makes it hard for everyone involved. Like some cities are set up well that cars get through and
Yeah,
everything's
we're
good.
just used to sidewalks being really spacious.
Yeah.
No accommodations for any handicap. I don't know. If you're handicapped, I have no idea how you travel around.
We actually had that conversation about how when we went to Disney, like 10% of the population is in a scooter, or maybe more even. When you go to Italy, we saw no one. There was maybe one person I saw in a wheelchair, and I have no idea how they got around because there is no accommodations. Like you basically would have to roll in the street.
Yeah,
And there's
then
not
it's
even enough
all
room.
uneven
It's-
because it's all stone.
It's awful for that. It's terrible.
Did you have something you want to say, buddy?
Oh, yeah, buddy.
And in Rome and Florence, there was dog diarrhea
Yeah.
inside of the road.
Is that your
Yes.
takeaway from the trip?
Clark was very obsessed over that.
Oh, the pigeons too. You love the pigeons.
Pigeon.
Pigeons everywhere.
Why do you like chasing the pigeons? I don't know if we ever revealed that in the...
Because I think pigeons are adorable and I just want to pick it up and have it as my pet.
They don't like that though, do they?
No.
No.
They don't want to have anything to
What
do
else
with
did you
buddy.
think about Rome?
Sorry.
Like when you first got there, what did you think? Like real busy? Thought that?
Yeah, I felt real busy and like,
Yeah, you didn't seem to like it at first.
You came around though,
Yeah.
so that was good.
once we got to Florence and Venice, I really liked it. Rome was just no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rome was
much more
it was certainly a city.
difficult.
And
yeah.
we kind of knew what we were
and
getting
the, and the
into.
walkways, that's the difference. Like Florence was a bit wider walking and
Yeah.
less busy. And then Venice was actually wonderful because there was no cars.
Florence had sidewalks, which was a luxury when we were out there.
Yeah.
Other luxuries that we have here in the United States that we didn't even realize, at least me, ice in your water. It's such a luxury.
Well, I already knew that they didn't really do ice over there.
And bathrooms are far and few between and very hard to come by. And if you do, there's a chance that you may have to pay to actually go into a bathroom.
Yep.
Even if you already paid admission to go into like a museum, they still charge you to go into the bathroom.
In some cases, yeah.
And if you go to the bathroom, there's literally like one stall for men and women. So the women, of course, take longer.
Oh my gosh,
And we would go to the bathroom. There'd be a lineup every time of like
I would have
hundreds
to
of
wait
women.
so long. I don't know what the women do in there, but like I go in, I pee, I come back out. Like
That one day, we waited for a family for like 20
yes,
minutes in there.
I have no idea what they were doing.
Constipation. It's
It was
terrible.
It was insane how long the wait was.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's nuts. Anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves, I think, here. That was kind of our first day, first impressions, things we did. What was day two?
Yeah.
Refresh me. That was the Colosseum tour.
So yeah, so in the morning, well, we had our breakfast. I think we decided to do that, like what she called like a continental breakfast, which was really nice. A nice spread. We were able to like save some food items and then have the next day for breakfast. But then we went to the Colosseum. We got a tour of that and the Roman Forum in Palatine Hill. And I really liked our tour guide.
The best one, probably.
And it was cool. There was a thunderstorm that
Oh,
happened.
yeah, tell them about the coolest thing that happened, Clark, man, during that day.
There's like rivers and stuff of rainwater going down like the side of the sidewalks.
What did you have to wear that day? What did you put on?
A poo-poo Joe.
Yeah,
Poncho.
the guys that fleece you for water outside, that day when it started raining turned into poncho salesmen. So for €5 each, you could get a poncho. So they ponchoed it up.
Yep.
We got
couple
our shoes
ponchos.
soaked. That was
Yeah.
crazy. I had to dry our shoes out like in the afternoon with a blow dryer, trying to clean that up.
13 minutes.
It was a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so it was amazing seeing the Colosseum. I wish we would have had more time there, though. I really wanted to explore the inside a little bit, and I thought we were going to go down in the the ground floor area, but we didn't. So that was unfortunate, but it was just an amazing sight to see, and I never tired of seeing such an incredible structure, and the history with it was kind of like emotionally overwhelming at some points, like when you think about all of the deaths that happened there. And then I thought about, how they separated the men from the women. The women had to go up to the top and didn't really have much of a view, which I imagine they probably didn't want to see that. But I don't know, it was just fascinating, the culture of the time, and you just wonder what the mindset is of the people. Like, you're going to this event to watch people and animals battle to the death.
I mean, it's essentially the same thing that we experience today at sporting events, only there's no death. We have
Right.
we have a game that is played.
And
To some
then-
people, it is life or death if your team wins.
And then you think about how strict the Catholics are with that, and these are Christian people, and death is a sin, and why are you
They're watching it for sport.
right?
They're like, wow, that was so much fun watching that lion get slaughtered. That was neat. Okay, let's go back home now.
Right, and then children seeing that too.
Do you think someday people will feel the same way about our sports now? Like, why do we watch men throw a ball back and forth and hit each other with football helmets on and stuff? Like, what's the purpose of that?
I don't know. It does make you wonder.
I think there is some pride in the community. There's that. There's
bringing
pride in
people together.
winning and defeating someone else. I think that's important, and it still is today. But it was just more of a graphic thing back then. But that was a fun time, and I think ideally you don't want to be out there in the rain, but it added an element to our story, which I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah. So then after the Colosseum and that tour in the Roman Forum and everything, we decided to go get something to eat before going back to the hotel to dry out the shoes and clothing and such. And we went to a place I had picked out for the previous day that we didn't go to, and it was La Licata, and that was really good. You had pizza there, I think.
And a sandwich.
And yeah, that's right. You got both, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a sandwich, and then we got a pizza
a
because
little
we
pizza,
needed
too.
pizza.
Because you had to have pizza
The
every
sandwich
day.
was incredible. It had pistachios
Oh,
on it,
yeah.
and this beautiful. I don't know what the cheese was because everything, there was just they were just lined up in a window, so I just selected one that I thought looked good, and it was so good. It was like ham and this really like smooth cheese, and then pistachio.
Yeah.
Clark Man got a
It
ham and
was
cheese sandwich.
delicious.
That's where he had that amazing hot chocolate. These
Oh,
memories
yeah.
are easier for me
And
to remember
my-
because I edited the videos already, so I can like
My
remember.
caprese salad. I love the caprese salad.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And then we went back and we relaxed for a little bit. And what did we do after that?
Spice shopping.
Yes, we went to Emporio della Spezia. I think that's how you say it. And I got some gifts for my mom and for my sister-in-law because her birthday's coming up. And then we went to that epic dinner at Nerone.
Oh yeah. What about that one, Clark Man? You remember what you had at Nerone?
Pasta?
Yeah.
You could either guess
Yeah,
pizza or
yeah,
pasta,
pizza or
and you'd be right
pasta.
every time.
Yeah,
Probably.
spaghetti. You had spaghetti there.
Yeah.
With
Was it the pasta or?
not the favorite one that you had. This one was like the regular with the spaghetti sauce and
Yeah.
Where
Where you were learning to
it's
twirl
like
the spaghetti.
pomodoro or something like that.
Yeah.
the one where that guy was like really kind of.
Oh yeah, where the waiter was just above and beyond, and then gave me like 3 free shots of the limoncello, the meloncello, and a pistachio one.
Yeah, hooked you up.
Yeah,
That's
that
how
was
you win
really
people
good.
over right there. That was pretty cool to have that. It was a fantastic experience overall, and we ducked out of a rainstorm that happened while we were in there too, so that was good.
Yeah.
Rome was just like rain the whole time. Even the next day. What did we do the next day there?
And the next day, that was our day at the Vatican museums.
That was a mixture of awesomeness, like the Sistine Chapel. We got to see that.
Yeah,
But
that
also
was-
the busiest place that you can imagine.
Gosh, it was like to the point where you had to have a lot of patience. Like even just thinking about it, it like raises my blood pressure because I don't like being in crowds, but you know, I want to see these amazing things, and so it's the trade-off. Like you have to deal with the cluster and the crowds in order to see these amazing art pieces of artwork and you know, structures and ruins and everything that we've learned about or in textbooks our whole life, and then being able to finally see them in person it's been a dream come true.
Yeah, that was a fun experience that day. Other than like we did spend a lot of time walking there. We got pizza on the way. It's going to be a recurring theme,
Of course.
that you'll see throughout this. The walk was pretty good. The place, the meeting place, I was like, dude, this is not
Yeah,
this is
it
not a good
looked
spot.
really sketchy and like
It was like the
ghetto-esque.
dirtiest, like dankest part of Rome. I felt like, not that we saw it all, but I was like, "Are you sure this is where it's at?" And it was. And then we did the tour. The tour
There
guide
was
that
way
day
too
was
many people in that tour. There's like 27.
yeah. And then when you're mixing with all these other tour groups as well, and like everyone's passing through like a narrow doorway, it's very hard to stick with your
Yeah.
group.
It's hard to really enjoy everything because you're just constantly like looking around, making sure no one steps on you and you don't step on someone else.
I was
and-
trying to be respectful too because I was getting video, and there's some cases where I wanted to film a little bit longer, but I was like, I don't want to have my camera up here like filming when I should be taking like a picture technically and walking away.
Yeah.
So I felt some pressure there, although some people don't give a rip about
No.
that.
Yeah, I do. I try to accommodate other people because I don't, you know, they're there to see it too, and I don't want to block them in any way. But
Yeah.
I also want to look too.
But ultimately, like for me, the payout was the Sistine Chapel, and if I could just have gone there and seen that, that would have been a successful day for me. That was just cool. It was one of those moments, just like seeing the Colosseum and the Statue of David, which is be coming up here. It was just amazing to actually be there in that moment and be like, this is something that I've seen, but I'm actually seeing it now.
Yeah, with your own eyes rather than in a book or
Yeah.
on the internet.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was just wonderful. Just really, really cool.
was a
I
good
will
day.
say, like, St. Peter's Basilica ain't got nothing on
Westminster.
Westminster.
We got spoiled by going to the greatest church of all time, it seems.
Yeah.
That was like one of our first, and now every time we go to
Sorry,
one
I
of
do
these.
have to say I love the UK chapels better.
Yeah, and now it's like we go to these ones and it's like, oh, this isn't as cool as that is.
cathedrals, yeah.
Cathedral, yeah. I mean, whatever you want to call it, church, cathedral.
Church.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was incredible. And then we went to your favorite pizza spot, I think,
my
for
favorite.
dinner.
Yeah,
Another
I was
pizza.
surprised that like I did all these different pizzas, and my favorite pizza still is one that's in our like town next to us. But the pizza that we had there that night was kind of like a flat pizza with like some spicy like salami type
Very
stuff
thin
on it.
crust. I will say, I love
it was
every
good.
pizza we had. The dough and crust was always epic for me.
Yeah, it was all good.
I loved the crust.
And we gave it a lot of samples, but that pizza in particular, just in this random little alleyway that was near our hotel.
Yeah, it was like literally a 2-minute walk from our hotel.
It was the best pizza I had there.
It was Lari
Surprising.
the Vino. Or Iari.
Iyari.
Iari the Vino.
Yeah, we said it wrong in the video, so I cut it
Yeah,
out.
because it was a capital I that looked like an L, and I should have known better.
So yeah, it wasn't Larry the cable
Iari.
guy restaurant. So that was our day 3.
Yep.
How many
So that
days
was
do we
our-
have?
That was our
12?
last day in Rome. We had 11 nights, so yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna be a long episode, it seems.
Yeah,
So
I know. I was thinking we should probably pick up the pace a little bit.
Okay.
It's really dragging.
It's okay. How long? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be 2 hours long.
I know.
Okay,
That's what I was thinking.
day 4. This is where our memory is going to get a little harder because I haven't edited these videos yet. This is my next video I'm making.
So we took the train to Florence, and that was flawless. That was an easy.
Yep, they took us to the train station. The train station was really nice and well organized and clean and smaller than the UK one that we went to. Well, at least in London. And they had a Lego store there. So Clark and I went Lego shopping, and that should be like a whole video within itself. And I think a lot of people will be excited to see that probably.
Yeah, I knew there was a Lego store in Rome. I just didn't realize it was in the train station. So that worked out really nicely.
And someone saw us there.
That's so
They're
crazy.
probably listening to this, and I'm angry that you didn't come up and say hi. They left a comment saying, I think we saw you in the Roma Termini or whatever. I'm like,
that's just wild.
worldwide, baby. So
So yeah, then we took a taxi off of the train station to our flat or apartment, and
Oh, I love
that was really, really up there. There was no escalator or not escalator, elevator.
4
Or a
stories.
lift.
4 stories of climbing with our suitcases. But tell us about the flat, buddy.
It was so amazing. They had a little upstairs area, and it had like 2 beds
loft.
up there, AC.
How many
fan.
bathrooms did it
luxury of
have?
an
They
AC.
had 2.
2 bathrooms.
Yeah, this place was huge. I had no idea how big it was. Like the pictures didn't seem like it was as big as it.
Very long, narrow place.
Yeah.
But it was,
Yeah, you could have a whole big family there. It was really something.
all of our places were air conditioned too, which is lovely.
Yes.
So I heard people talking like
lifesaver.
they were talking about trying to get to sleep, and they had a USB fan plugged into their computer or something, trying to get to sleep one night. And I'm like, man, I'm glad we got places with air conditioning.
Yeah, I made sure that
It was hot.
our places.
We should say, I don't think we talked about the weather at all. There was rain, of course, but it was very hot, and it would have been hotter if we had counted a week later, like 10 degrees hotter.
Yeah.
So we were thankful that we had the rain, at least in Rome. But Florence wasn't nearly as warm. Did you want to
Yes.
say something, bud?
8 people could probably live in there, like 2 upstairs, 2 on the 2 sofas.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you really wanted to split it.
There's 2 beds. I had 1 bed and myself. Me and mom and dad had their own bed, which 2 people per bed. So 1, 2, 3,
There's
4.
4. Yep, and then there's space upstairs, the loft, or sleeping on the couch. You could sleep probably.
8 people.
Yeah.
It'd be
8
pretty
people.
cheap if you went there with a whole squad and
Yeah, 2
split it.
families could make it work.
It would be a nightmare,
2
especially
families,
with
4.
1 shower. I mean, it was a bath and a half.
Oh yeah, and the water it was warm for like 2 minutes, and then I'd shut it off, let it warm up again, and back on.
It's almost like there was like a tank of hot water that existed for a few minutes, and then it would go cold, but then it would get warm again. And I just tried to get everything done in the first 2 minutes and get the heck out of there.
I would just lather up my hair and let that sit for a few minutes and then rinse out. But yeah, it was really cool. And then I got like the little Italian coffee pot, and I really liked it. So I just ordered one from Amazon so we can have one here. Like the little Italian mocha pot. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, just to be clear, this was like an actual household. This is like an Airbnb, if you can imagine that. Not like a hotel where you walk past like a...
But like an apartment or a flat.
Yeah, it was like that. So you had like all the dishes there. You had a full kitchen. You had a bedroom,
Washing
bathroom,
machine was
towels.
a lifesaver. No dryer though, so I had to air dry everything. They had a little terrace that I could lay the clothes out onto, so that was cool. You know, you felt like a resident of the town. So that's what I really like about renting
That really
living
sold me on
spaces.
doing those type of places versus the hotels, because hotel is like, it feels not like
Yeah, it's not yours.
You don't own the place.
Not that this felt like ours, but it did kind of feel
We had a
very
key
home.
to it. It was our home for
Yeah,
the time
it really
we were there.
did feel like home away from home. So that was a really nice experience. And the people who were in charge of it like gave us wine and olive oil from their farm, their family farm, and were very accommodating and always quick to answer any questions and offer their assistance and advice. So it was absolutely lovely. I really enjoyed the place that we stayed at there. And then we got settled, and then we went to the grocery store, Conad City Supermarket, and got some grocery items. And then that evening we had a really cool family cooking class where we made pizza, handmade pasta, fettuccine pasta, and oh my gosh, the dessert was the best one. We made gelato along with a sorbet.
Yeah. The food sucked though. I mean, I wanted to eat the pizzas.
The pizza, I felt like the woman or the instructor should have recommended that we really stretched out the dough.
They were too thick and
Yes,
doughy.
yeah. It was just like all dough.
And not enough toppings on them. And
Yeah.
what really sucked is I felt like
The pasta was really good.
I
though.
really wanted the pizza that I made, and I realized instantly when she started taking them that it was just a collective thing. So
Yeah.
everyone was making their own pizza, but they didn't like separate them in a way that you knew which
you
pizza
had
was
yours that you made.
So
I agree. I feel like the instructor should have had a more organized system of making sure that you got the one that you made.
and my pizza was like one of the thinnest ones
Yeah, it
on there.
was.
So whoever got my pizza probably actually had a good experience.
Yeah, and I added more sauce and cheese to my toppings.
The one I had-
because I noticed a lot of people were going really skimpy on it. And I'm like,
Dude, load that baby up.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the ones, like we tried several of them, and like I couldn't even eat the crust.
Yeah, they were.
And the
they were
pasta
pretty
was
bad.
like, man, but we had wine there, and I definitely felt that.
Pasta
Oh my
was the
gosh,
best
yeah, the
thing.
wine was good. I'm not a huge wine fan, but every wine I had there was pretty good.
That's the only time I really drank other than trying your drinks. And
But I
like,
do prefer white over red.
there you go, you learned something.
The pasta was good. Dad's not really a pasta guy, so
Yeah, don't take my opinion on pasta.
Yeah, Clark and I, we love our pasta, and the pasta was good.
I'm a pizza guy, and I tell you that pizza was a 0 out of 10.
0 out of 0.
Yeah. All right,
pasta
so
28.
next day. This is day 5.
Day 5.
Friday.
Do, 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 do.
And we did the walking tour because that was recommended that we do a walking tour to get our bearings about us in the new city. And that was nice. We did see a lot of things that we then saw later, and we're like, oh, yeah, I remember seeing that on the walking tour.
Tours are always better when you're constantly moving.
Right, and this one was constantly moving. So that was nice. And then we went, and I forget where we had lunch
Lunch?
at that day.
Shoot, this is where I
Yeah, we
my
didn't do the
memories.
video, so it's-
yeah. It just says lunch wherever on the outline here.
Yeah, because it was like a spontaneous.
Gosh, that was like a week
Lunch spot.
a week ago into our trip.
I'm sure whatever it was, you had pizza.
Just assume that I had pizza.
Oh my gosh. Obsessed.
No, that was Pino's. That's the day that I chose Pinot sandwiches.
Oh, right.
The
Yeah,
best-
you looked up a
that was
spot
my
to
favorite
get some
food.
paninis. Yes.
Yeah, we got paninis at Pino's and had great reviews. Inside there, the loveliest old man. He wasn't old man, but an older guy that, like, it almost looked like when I was getting him on video. I remember looking through, like, the screen there, and I was like, this looks like something out of a magazine. It was like
Yeah.
a typical Italian guy making these sandwiches. The younger guy was, like, he wanted to be in my video. And
Yeah, he was funny.
They made us some bomb sandwiches that we took back home and ate that day. And they were slamming.
They were delicious.
That was my favorite thing that we had in Florence because I had very bad luck with dinners in Florence.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I put myself
enjoyed
out there to
everything.
try new things that weren't pizza, and every time I kind of
Well,
got burnt.
your big mistake was you didn't have like the Florentine steak
It's
because
raw.
they only come in rare and medium
It's
rare.
not even rare.
Which
It's 5 degrees under rare, which means
I-
it's still mooing.
I like medium rare, and I regret not getting one. I should have.
I don't
But it was
regret
just so much. It was a lot of meat.
It's huge and raw, and I like my stuff like medium
and
well.
Clark won't eat. He loves steak, but he won't eat it without his steak sauce. So.
Yeah, I would have been
Ketchup
disappointed.
and soy sauce.
I was a pizza
No,
guy while I
ketchup
was
and
there.
Worcestershire sauce.
Was that that was the
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
was that the dinner that we had at that I got like the almost like a macaroni and cheese pasta?
Oh my goodness, I
Corte.
can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think, or is that the night after?
You're skipping ahead to dinner. Before dinner.
Oh, what did we do
after
before dinner?
lunch.
Yeah.
We went to Uffizzi's gallery and the Academia tour. So that's when we saw amazing Renaissance artwork and the statue of David, which was so incredible to see in person.
I love
that. was
that.
my highlight of Florence.
I loved that.
I loved that so much.
It was huge too. It's way bigger than you think it's going to be.
I know. Like, I never dreamed it was that big.
Well, it was supposed to be on top of a building.
Yeah.
So it would have looked tiny up there, but in front of you, it was pretty wild and epic.
We also went
was
to the Lego
epic.
store too.
Oh yes, there was a Lego store that we went to.
Was that day?
That was that was the next day, buddy.
You're jumping ahead a day. I'm realizing now how much my videos really help my memory of our trips
it's
because
true.
it's
when
like
you start to go through.
I live it twice basically. So now we're falling
So
apart
the
here.
statue of David, absolutely amazing, hands down. You have to see that in person.
We didn't do
was
it the
incredible.
next day. We did it that day because remember we saw that statue that day. And
We might have, like, I might have
Yeah.
had it scheduled for.
No, we did the Lego store
did.
after
We
we
did,
went to
we
the
did.
bell tower.
Okay, you're right.
So dinner
We
that
did.
night.
Dinner that night. I don't remember.
Yes, it was the one where we're in that little courtyard area, and I got the macaroni and cheese essentially. Like I tried this weird pasta, and it was
yes.
almost like macaroni and cheese. And then we went to my favorite gelato place right after that because it was right around the corner.
Was that the one where I got like the pear-filled pasta? Was it
No, that was Natalino's
okay,
the
all right,
next
never mind.
night.
the
Okay,
one,
yes, you looked up a gelato place, and I'm telling you what, it was, the texture was so creamy, unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was mind-blowing.
Someone wrote a review that said that they had it every day of their trip and they can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
They wrote like this crazy elaborate article, and I was like, that's our place. And they
Yeah.
were not lying about it.
That was the place where we had the cold soup, tomato soup.
Yep, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
You had the cold tomato soup, which apparently is a thing.
Then we saw
I
that
can't remember what
nice-
Mom had because I haven't edited yet, but
Yeah, I can't even remember.
it was a
Everything's
good
blurred.
meal. I just saw this pasta thing and I was like, I'll try pasta tonight, and I was like, oh, it wasn't as good as I had hoped.
Also, the guy at the gelato place was kind too. That guy.
Everybody was.
Oh yeah,
Every-
super nice.
Italy people,
very warm and friendly.
Italians are great. All right, so it takes us to day 6, almost the halfway point here.
Okay. So this was the guided tour of the Patisserie and Domo Museum Cathedral, plus we climbed the bell tower.
Okay, we'll shorten this to the point where we say that the guy was super long, drawn out, boring.
Yes.
The best part of it was when we were finally done and
Yeah.
then got to go. Although there
climb
was
the
a
bell
statue,
tower.
a Michelangelo statue in there. That was my
Yeah.
favorite art piece that I saw.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Unfinished piece. I forget what it's called, but Clark and I built it out of Lego using the Legos that we bought later that day. But we did go to see the bell tower. What'd you think about that, buddy? How many steps did we climb to get up there?
400.
400 plus steps to get up to the top of this bell tower to see the best view of Florence.
Yeah, that was the highlight there.
Dude.
And then we, the Lego store was only a 2-minute walk
Mm-hmm.
from there, so we decided to go there.
And we did a pick-a-brick where
Mm-hmm.
we had this idea when I was looking at that statue that I loved that we would get nothing but tan pieces to try to replicate some like Michelangelo statues, and we did just that. And Clark made a really cool one using those.
Yeah, we made the exact same statue, but we had to sadly tear it apart.
Yeah, he couldn't travel with us because we were out of space, but that was a fun day. And then that night we went to was that what is Natalino's? Natalino.
Yeah, Natalino.
And that was we ate like kind of like on the street essentially, like they had tables out there, but it was really tightly packed together. So it's almost like we had to have lunch with this lady and her daughter too.
Yeah.
Like listening to their conversation about their brother being a slacker and coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and how the dad's trying to bond with them. It was kind of interesting just listening into that.
Yeah.
We don't have much to say at dinner because we spend so much darn time together. It's not like we sit down and have like these groundbreaking conversations.
Yeah, I
We're just
know.
like,
we're together 24/7.
Okay,
So it's
is-
like we've already.
there's nothing I could say
Said.
to you that I have not said already.
All right.
Probably.
All right. Next day, day 7. It's just Sunday, and that one we did just entry tickets to a museum, the Bargello National Museum.
That made me realize that I like doing our own pace of tour and just looking at things much more than having someone take 3 hours to walk us through and tell us everything.
And having to be with a group of people.
And I'm not going to retain it. So it's like, let's just look and what I did for that video was I tried to find my favorite thing in every room we went into, and it made it a fun challenge for Clark too. So that was fun.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing about that museum? Did you have
The
necessarily-
weaponry.
Yeah, the weapons.
Oh my gosh, the room of weaponry was just incredible. I don't know why. I've just always liked weapons. Not using them, but just admiring the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Is this the last day?
This This
Because
was this was our
Leonardo and stuff.
Yeah, this was our last day of just
Oh.
hanging out in Florence because the next day was an all-day event to Tuscany, but we'll get to that here in a moment. So yeah, we did that. We just kind of went through at our own pace. We went by the statue, the Fountain of Neptune in the Piazza della Signoria, which we did the other day.
That
And then
afternoon tour was the best one.
Spontaneously found the Leonardo da Vinci Interactive Museum just a couple
that was
days before we
amazing.
left for our trip, and that was definitely well worth it.
Oh, I love that.
Why'd you like that museum in particular, Clark?
Because you could actually use the things like they're supposed to be intended to, like crank things and
What were those things though? What was all that stuff in there?
inventions that Leonardo was thinking about making.
What was your favorite invention that he made that you got to experience? I can say what I think it was.
What was it?
The crane. Remember the crane that he made that we were
Oh, yeah.
swinging around and
Oh,
you
yes.
tried hitting Mom in the head with it?
I did.
There were so many cool things in there. I was
Yeah.
like inspired to make all that stuff out of Lego too. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if I did. I was thinking about Leonardo with Lego Technic. He would have had so much fun with Lego Technic.
Yeah.
He would have made so many cool things. But that's like, he was doing Lego Technic with all this wooden stuff and it was incredible. Like there was this one thing that was like, you roll up to the outside of a castle wall and it makes almost like a bridge for the guys to like walk up it as like it's on wheels and then it just rolls up to the side and you can walk right over their castle walls and over their moat, which would have been so crazy to see. Like, can you imagine, like you think you have this fort and you're in your castle and oh, this thing rolls up and everyone just comes right over the wall?
Yeah.
Would have been crazy.
Yeah, that was really
I can't wait to edit
love
that
Leonardo
video.
da Vinci.
Oh my gosh.
Mine.
So that interactive
my
museum
favorite,
was great.
Let me talk. My favorite.
So sorry.
My favorite thing was that tank tread in that room where we did the puzzle.
Yeah, that was
That
cool.
tread thing that was like next to the ball thing.
Yeah. He actually had a tank in there too. He invented a tank. Remember the
Yeah.
thing we were moving?
Oh yeah,
That was cool.
yeah, that was cool.
That was my favorite museum, I think. It was, I mean,
was
you
actually-
could play around with everything in there. And there was nobody guiding you. You just could read if you want, or you could do like little puzzles, and
Yeah.
it was cool.
Loved it.
Yep.
So then that evening we had dinner at La Spada, which is recommended from the lady that took us to the flat and the assistant to the owner. And that was really nice. That was an authentic experience. That's where you had your favorite pasta with the olive oil and garlic, buddy.
Oh, that's the place that I got like the meat platter thing, and I did not like
It
it.
didn't turn out. You should have just got like the steak Florentine.
Yeah, so you say. I wasn't thrilled with that meal. I had like, and my meal at the night before at Natalino, that was weak too. I got some type of like steak with sauce on it. It was like meat with sauce, almost like if you would picture like veal or whatever.
Oh, it
And-
was almost like chicken parmesan, but with steak instead of chicken.
but the steak wasn't great. So I was 0 for 3 for good dinners in Florence. So my favorite thing that I ate in Florence was Pinot sandwiches.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That was my favorite. Was that the one where I had the pear?
Yeah. Wait.
No. That
No,
was the night before
that-
with the
yeah.
pear-filled pasta. That was incredible.
That was the best thing we had that night. Anyways, I wasn't upset because I had lots of pizza and everything was good.
Yeah. Yeah, everything was delicious for me. I
Yeah.
enjoyed everything.
What was day 8?
Day 8, Monday, that was
Oh.
a 12 to 13 hour tour of getting on a bus and then going to, we started in Saint-Germain, I think I said that. Sanji, I think, is the shortened version of that, the medieval town where they had all these shops and restaurants, went to that cafe.
Really
and
cool walk up this hill, and like the place had so much
gorgeous.
character.
The countryside is the way to go. Like if we do a trip to Italy, if we were fortunate enough to be able to do it again, the countryside is where I want to go. Just
The views on views.
gorgeous.
You couldn't imagine a better view.
Maybe the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just
It's
the
particularly
landscape.
after we left that place, we went to a lunch spot.
On
we
a farm.
On a farm, and we ate outside, and it was
Gorgeous.
it was so cool.
So beautiful.
But the next town we went to, I didn't like nearly
No,
as much.
Sienna. I was not a fan.
We were there for a short period of time.
Yeah, I think it was because I didn't know they made us do another guided tour into a cathedral, and I was just kind of over it at that point.
We had
And
done
I
so
just
many
wanted to
tours.
explore the town itself.
So we ended up getting stuck on this guided tour.
Yeah.
And then we had very little time after that, other than just to meet back at the square.
Every stop we did, I feel like we had to walk over a mile.
Yeah, the bus would the bus would stop at a place. We would walk like a mile.
To the location and then walk around in the location
but
and
what
have to walk a mile back.
What frustrated me though is when the bus would then leave, we would drive past the location that we like could have like walked right
yeah, he
onto.
could have just dropped us off.
He could have just stopped the bus for
And
2
normally
minutes.
it wouldn't be a big deal, but when it's that long of a day and we have the little guy and we've already done so much the several days leading up to that, it was just like, oh my gosh.
But the stop after that was the best stop.
What was that?
Pisa.
Oh yeah.
The Leaning Tower
The
of Pisa.
Leaning Tower of Pisa was awesome.
Also,
We went
It
up
was
that.
gorgeous.
yeah, it was amazing. I was actually scared.
What was it like climbing it, Clark, man?
It was like tilting to the right, and it felt just kind of scary because you're like because when you're on the side that's leaning over on the right, because there's a circle that goes all around where you can stand at. It feels like you're gonna slide forward and fall off.
Yeah, when
Luckily,
you're-
they have fences there, so
When you're going up the spiral, at one point it feels like you're going to fall over like
Yeah,
to the
it's
one
a little
side, and then the
disorienting.
other side you're like hanging on the wall. And then we got to the top and saw a great view, but it was all very rushed because there had been an accident on the road earlier that day. So
Our time was very limited.
we were kind of speed running it. We got to see it. We got some great photos outside. I fell on
I
the
was
last
just gonna
step.
say, and then the best part was
Oh my god.
literally went up and down the tower, and we're walking out on the last 2 steps to walk out onto the ground.
My
I just seen Craig go down.
my foot slipped out from under me and I fell right on my tailbone. And if you're wondering how that feels on marble, it freaking sucks. I'm still feeling it today on my tailbone.
Man, I hope there's no permanent damage. Hopefully, it's just a little bruise.
At least I
that's
can say
healing.
that that's where it happened at.
Oh my
it was pretty
gosh.
cool. But something
That was
even cooler
hilarious.
happened to Clark, man, when we were leaving. We were very hungry. And we see all these McDonald's bags.
let me see it.
Okay, I'll lead up to it and you can say what happened. We see these McDonald's bags, but we have to leave like within
Yeah,
like a
there was
minute.
no time to get dinner, and we
No.
were really starving by that point. 'cause
Starving.
It's like 8:00 at night.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, where's the McDonald's? I go out and I'm looking, and the fake Rolex guy comes over and he's like, would you like a Rolex? And I'm like, no, but where's the McDonald's? So we go over and I look inside and there's a whole queue of people waiting for their food. So I'm like, all right, we failed.
We don't have time.
And I guess before that though, I asked a guy that was standing by. I'm like, where'd you get that? Because he had bags of McDonald's, and I was like, where'd you get that? And he's like, oh, right out there. And then I found out there wasn't enough time, so we come back in defeat, and we come over and stand by the guide. And then what happened there, Clark, man?
The kind guy that we asked about where's the McDonald's came over, not the Rolex guy, but he gave me a random bag. It had chicken nuggets in there, which tasted nothing like American chicken nuggets.
How so?
It tasted like real chicken in there.
Like it wasn't just like
Yeah, and I looked,
cardboard?
and it was like a
Yeah.
solid piece of white meat.
So a piece of white meat. He had the drink though. There's straws in there.
What else though? You got French fries
Yeah, we got French fries for days.
and what sauce?
Barbecue.
Yeah,
Not sweet and sour.
he
sauce.
almost had Clark Man's order down, but this is such a sweet guy. He was another
my
guy
gosh.
on the tour
Yeah.
guide or on the tour, and we asked him, and I think he saw us come back empty-handed and probably felt bad.
Oh, I was so grateful because I know Clark was so hungry by that
And
point.
he gave Clark Man. We offered to pay him. He said no. He gave Clark basically a whole meal of chicken
Yeah,
nuggets, which is
basically like a Happy Meal.
it was a 6-piece.
You didn't even need the sauce because there was so much flavor on the nuggets. Like you didn't even need the sauce.
yeah, he did. He ate him plain.
But man, that was just an incredible experience.
Some of
Like something that nice happening. And this isn't the first time things like this have happened to us. And you just feel so appreciative of how generous and kind
Yeah,
people are.
it's so nice when you run into kind people.
Yeah.
Like it was so.
And of course, we've
wonderful.
seen a lot of that online too with our audience too. But
Oh,
this is just a
yeah.
random guy, and it was
Yeah,
pretty
it just
pretty well.
restores your faith in humanity.
But we drove back then, got back pretty late, walked back to our place, and that was a wrap for
Yeah.
I guess.
And
day
it was
8.
a mile walk to and from the meeting location too. So we definitely got.
We got our miles in.
miles in that.
I came
day.
home and ate like a couple bowls of cereal. I think that's what I had for
Yeah,
dinner.
yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
I stayed strong.
All right, what's next day?
All right, next day we travel to our last destination, which was Venice. So this is Tuesday, and we take a train, and that was a couple hours to get from Florence to Venice.
Train was pretty easy again.
Yep. And then we got off. We were a
Flawless.
little overwhelmed. There were scammers trying to get us to ride in their taxis.
Ooh, let me
and-
tell you this story. We walk out, there's all these guys in orange vests, and the guy starts asking Cody where she's trying to go, and she's bringing it up on her phone. And I look down at his name tag, and he was like a Indian dude or whatever,
Yeah, he
Middle
did look
Eastern.
like, yeah.
It was a white dude on his name tag. They were
Yeah,
trying to look
picture.
official, like they had these orange vests on. There was a bunch of these dudes, and they all look the same too.
Yeah.
Not being racist, no racist, but there's a white dude on his name tag, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, and I didn't feel good about talking to him.
He
Like,
was
this
like,
doesn't feel right.
It was all very confusing, and I think what they try to do is they try to walk you down to the water taxi, which you could walk down to yourself, and then they want you to pay them money for like escorting them, basically. So we got out of that, but then we were overwhelmed with like what to do because it's just like there's no cars, and to
No.
get to your place you have to go by boat. So we had the option of doing like the water bus or to do a taxi, like a private taxi, and we opted for that just because I thought it'd be cool and like a good
cool
experience.
experience.
But it was expensive.
Yeah, it
was
was.
60 euros to get to our hotel, which wasn't super far, but we got to see some great views on the way in and stuff. And then he didn't even drop us off right at our hotel, which he
yeah,
could
which
have done.
he should have done.
But maybe that would have been more. I don't know.
I don't
But
know
he dropped
either.
us off pretty close, and we ended up at like St. Marco.
The St. Marco Square,
Yeah.
and then we walked like 0.2 miles, I think it was. Wasn't too bad.
And it's
To
all
our-
pedestrians, no cars.
Yeah, that was really nice. Like, Venice was my favorite place to walk around.
What was your first thoughts on Venice, Clark, man? What was your first impressions when you got
I
there?
thought it was amazing. I loved how there's just boats there. There's plenty of space to walk. I wouldn't get ran over by a car.
You tried to a couple times in Rome, didn't you?
Yahoo!
God, that was a little scary. What'd you think of our hotel there? What was the hotel called, if people are wondering?
Oh, jeepers.
It's the one we can never say.
Yeah, that one is, it's Hotel Alponte dei Sospiri.
There you go.
And that one, that was really cool. It was in a Venetian style. So it was like fabric overwhelmed.
It was
this
wacky.
Giant glass chandelier that was made in, I think, Murano. And so it was like definitely,
Drapery over our bed.
Oh, yes, the
Huge
drapes.
curtains from the ceiling to the floor on the door. The nice thing is when you walk down our little patio, if you look to your left, you can see one of the canals, which
yeah.
is cool. And
Yeah, so
gondolas
I
below.
thought it, it's busy inside, but it was done in a way that it was just so gorgeous and, authentic to that area.
Oh, I want to say
The
something
hotel
about...
did stink inside.
It
though.
smelled like the canal,
Yeah,
which
it
was right
smelled
by
like the
it.
canal.
But I
It
want to
was-
say one positive thing about all these places we've stayed in Italy. Their internet is the fastest I've ever seen. I've never had higher upload speeds than at these places. Like, I would have a 20-minute video upload. It takes like 10 minutes to upload that. I'm like, what? How would, like, they don't have ice in their water or bathrooms, but they have blazing internet.
Yeah.
I just don't even know how it's
knew?
possible, but I was very appreciative of that. All right, what did we do our first day in Venice?
So they were able to get us in right away, which was awesome. It was about check-in time anyway, so it was around 2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, then we got pizza.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
believe
was-
it or not, we got pizza.
Oh, that
There's
was
a
the best
pizza-
pizza I've had.
There was a pizza place that was recommended in my Rick Steves book that was just a few steps from our hotel. So that was really nice.
Yes, sir.
It was very good. And then we had the gondola ride. That was the highlight.
Oh, yeah.
Clark, man, tell about the gondola ride.
So we went down through these little alleyways. It was amazing. Like, it was remarkable.
What did you see, though? You tell me, like, paint a picture if someone was on this trip with us.
So
What'd the boat look like? Long?
it was just long alleyways where it was just the back of buildings.
Like, literally floating by buildings.
Yeah, like behind the scenes, Venice.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So, the gondola is like a long boat.
It was
And then
long black boat with
sit in-
red.
Mom and I sat side by side. Clark sat in front, which definitely tilted the boat over a little bit. But then on the back of the boat, because he's so heavy because of all that pizza he's eating. And then on the back of the boat, what's the guy dressed like? What's he wearing?
He's like wearing like a sun hat, kind of like the striped shirt, like he just went to prison.
The guy broke out of prison wearing a striped shirt, and then he has like an oar that he navigates down the canals, and he's a legend. Like, we got within like centimeters of
Almost
like
like
these
even
buildings going around
millimeters.
these turns, and he was just navigating that
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
Almost looked like French people, kind of.
oh yeah,
the
like a
black
French
and white
artist.
stripes.
Yeah, that was a cool experience. That was basically what I wanted to go to Venice for. After
Oh
I
my
did
gosh.
that, I was
know. I
like,
wanted to do one every night. I loved it so much,
Yeah.
and being able to see
was
the
like,
viewpoint from the canals and the water, just go up against the buildings, and then you'd see all of the vegetation and algae and stuff growing along the buildings, and then the steps just going right into the water. And
Crazy to see steps just go right into the
You
water.
see
Yeah.
people with their feet
the water
hanging
just
above
lapping
the
up
water.
across the bricks and stone.
People
and
took off their shoes and they're just sitting on like there's sidewalks that lead up to
Oh,
there.
yes, and the restaurants that are just right and like through the windows of buildings, like right up against the water, and
yeah, like a
so
balcony.
charming.
It was awesome.
There's this one lady
Gorgeous.
and this one guy that are like sitting on this little balcony area looking over the water.
Yeah, it was definitely my favorite part of Venice, going on the gondola ride.
Like checked it off our list. Sistine Chapel check, Colosseum check, Statue of David check,
yeah,
Leaning Tower of Pisa check. Like
Yeah.
we got everything,
Yes.
and that was like the icing on the cake. But we still had a few days there. What happened on day 10?
Lego
All right.
store check.
Yeah, like 2 Lego stores.
So we had breakfast, and the most amazing guide greeted us, Raphael.
Oh my gosh.
He
Oh
was
my
just
God.
so enthusiastic and a darling man. I loved him.
I got video of him, so people will get to meet him.
I'm so glad because I want to remember him. He was
He was
incredible.
sweet to Clark, which we'll get to on the last day. But
Yeah, and then it was a great breakfast. It was included with the hotel, like a bed and breakfast type deal. And then what did we do? We walked around.
that was the Doge
That
Palace.
was, oh yeah, that's right. 10 a.m. we had the Doge Palace and St. Mark's Basilica and the terrace. And so
At this
that
point,
was our last tour.
I was done with tours at that point.
I enjoyed it.
I didn't like the lady very much. I couldn't hear her very well. Our tour group was big.
Oh, that
and
was horrible.
I just thought it was the most boring experience, and I was like contemplating bailing on it.
No.
But
I
there were a
enjoyed it.
few cool things we saw, but it was another 3-hour tour.
Yeah,
Three
it was a
hour
lot.
tour.
It was a lot to cram into.
It was just too much. And after experiencing how nice it was to go on an unguided tour and to do the Leonardo experience, this was right back into here's 3 hours of me dryly telling you about the entire history of Venice. And I just was, Clark and I were done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
didn't
and you
mind
were
it too much.
boiling hot. Like we just came.
It was hot.
It was
It was
1,000 degrees.
sweltering hot
I
that
just
day.
wanted to go back to my hotel and like cool down, honestly.
And be with Mario, Mario stuffy I brought.
But yeah, we survived it. I can't remember what we did after that. We didn't do what's on your list here.
No, because
I can't remember what we had for lunch that day.
was that the 1,000?
Oh,
Gourmet?
1000 Gourmet, another pizza place.
Yeah.
I found a pizza place that had good reviews, so we got more pizza, which I liked there. We actually got 2 different pizzas. One had like a smoked cheese, and the other one was my Diavola cheese, which is pretty good. What did we do for dinner that night? Do you know?
No, we just had that.
That was it. Okay.
And then, because we ate at a weird time. And I think you guys went and got some snacks at the
Oh,
local,
yeah, I remember
like,
that
at a little
now.
store.
Oh
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
got
And
that.
we just walked around.
cheese.
Yep. What was next day? Day 11.
Yep, Thursday. This was our last day. And that was a spontaneous day where we just decided to go wherever the wind took us.
Probably maybe my favorite day of the trip, just because there was
There's nothing scheduled.
There was no tours, nowhere to be. It was just literally let's walk around and see some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
We took the water bus.
we took the water bus all the way across Venice, so we got to see a bunch of stuff with that and
We
experience
just
that.
walked our way back through.
Yeah, and we stopped and got some food, tried some new delicious like peach and lemon iced tea. We got what else? We did. Oh, you did a bunch of shopping that day. You got a few things here and there, which was cool. Clark and I had some fun. Yeah, I think that video I'm really looking forward to editing too, because that was such an awesome day and a great send out to our day. And that night we had dinner at that.
Yeah, La Piazza.
Yeah.
And that was really good, except the guy recommended my lobster too late and it got overcooked. But he was so apologetic and really
Devastated.
kind. Yeah, he seemed devastated.
We're like, it's too dry, and he's like, it was like,
yeah.
I think a big problem too is like these people see I'm filming, and I think they worry that this is going to end up
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Not like I'm not going to show it. No, just a home video, buddy.
But I had a glass of white wine with dinner, and it was my favorite wine, I think, on the whole trip. And then, as an apology, he gave me a free bottle of it to make up for recommending the lobster too late, and then it ended up getting dried out. So that was really nice.
Crazy.
That really redeemed, the rating there for that place, because he was really cool and.
It was a nice
giving
gesture.
it was such a kind gesture.
It's
and
how
I-
you make a
and
really good
it-
impression on someone.
It was very much appreciated.
What else on that night?
So we just walked around. I mean,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
just a day of walking around and taking it all in.
We did
and
more walking. Yeah. That was such an awesome day because Venice is like, it's kind of like just walking around a shopping mall because every place that you see is either a restaurant or a place to buy stuff, and just looking around at things is awesome. It's of course busy, but man, there's just so much to see,
Yeah.
and everywhere you look, there isn't a place that you couldn't take a photograph and have it be like the best photo you've ever
Oh,
taken.
it's so beautiful.
It's a
It's
gorgeous.
just gorgeous.
Contrary to like, it's like the opposite of Rome. Rome was like, okay, there's graffiti everywhere, there's trash all over the ground. Venice, trash all over the ground again, only because they refused to put trash cans anywhere.
Yeah, there's not as
like
many.
even at the ATM that was across the street from our hotel, they don't have a place to put your receipts, and lots of people don't want their receipt. So they just throw it on the ground.
Oh, which is
and
terrible.
I was sitting out on the balcony the one day, and there was like a bottle laying in the corner. And then all of a sudden another bottle comes flying at it. And then I realized that's a thing in Venice because they don't have trash cans anywhere. People just start piling their trash up in
There
places.
were trash cans. They're just few and far between.
Yeah, but like if you're going to manage a city and you realize trash is piling up in these locations, that is a perfect place for a trash can. People let you know that there needs to be a trash can there. And everyone there is on vacation, right? And the reason that Venice is so busy is because apparently a lot of people come in for like tours and things like that.
Yeah.
So
The place that we were at,
we're in the
St. Mark's
busiest
Square,
area.
Yeah, like there's cruise ships that come and dump people off. So.
And some of these tours, like we thought our tours were big. The one day Clark and I were waiting for you outside of a store, there was a line of people that went by for probably 3 or 4 minutes of just solid people from this tour group. And I guarantee the back people never even saw the front of it. Like they didn't even see their guide. They're just following the person. It was insane. Luckily, we didn't get tied up in that.
Never
But,
seen
Yeah.
a guy's face ever.
but it didn't bother me at all. Like I felt like it was nice. Other than when people like are standing 4 wide in a alleyway and you can't get by it, or they just randomly stop in the middle or on a corner. Other than that, it was all
it's like
good.
you gotta be mindful of your surroundings.
And I think I can say safely at this point, as we get into the last day, even with all the people that we've been around, none of us are sick or have gotten sick.
Well, we just got back 2 days ago, so
We'll see what
Could be
happens.
festering.
Could be.
I'm hoping not.
Please,
Hopefully
no,
we're
please,
okay.
Anyways.
no.
Let's go on to our last day of
Oh, it was brutal.
travel day.
It was brutal.
We got up early that day. We had to be out at 7:50 a.m. because we were taking the water bus
Yes.
to the airport,
because
which
it was so much cheaper. than
145 euros to take a water taxi. I told you it was 60 to come in from the railroads.
station.
Yeah, this is gonna be 145.
I just couldn't stomach that.
We come to find it. Yeah, so you're talking 145 euros just to get to the airport.
Yeah, which is insane.
Which would take 30 minutes, or you can ride the water bus.
for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Hour 20 minutes, but 15 euros per person, so
Yeah, so it was
45.
100 euros less.
We saved 100 euros, and it cost us an hour of our time.
Yeah.
Now at Disney, we probably would have paid that 100 euros to ride the Tron or whatever. But in this case, we were like, nope. So we got to do this, and it was kind of cool because you got to see a lot along the way. But it was a very long time of picking people up like endlessly. But we eventually made it to the airport. Airport was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Other than like we had to find the American Airlines place, which was apparently downstairs
and all the way
all
over.
the way
and
at
then
the
we had
end.
to go back up and then go the opposite end.
And then security,
upstairs for
security, like 3 times. And then by
Yeah.
the time we got through all the security, I wanted to get something to eat because we had missed breakfast that day because we left too early. And there was only like one place to choose for food, and it wasn't. It kind of sucked. But we ended up getting onto
Well,
the
they
plane.
had good tarts and croissants.
Mom got some espressos
Oh,
that
of course.
morning.
Oh,
Yes.
we didn't. We talked about my pizzas, but we didn't talk about the hundreds of espressos that you got throughout this trip. Ordering 2 espressos for breakfast that day, which we need to talk about. Raphael,
Oh,
he
yeah,
made a
really-
reappearance
he
on the
came
last
through.
day.
He came through on that last
Hello.
day because we left at 7:30, which is right when breakfast gets served. And I put on the card, like, if possible, can we just have 2 espressos at 7:15? If not, I understand. And he came down and even gave a gift to Clarkman. This,
It's a magnet and / ornament. You can make it a magnet or an ornament.
yeah, of Venice, and that was just so cool. And so we gave him a good tip, and I just appreciated him so much.
He was a
he was
legend.
incredible. But yeah, I just act like Greg is drinking an espresso, but they're both for me.
Yeah, but she gets on me about like I have 1 Coke and I go for another
No.
one. She's like,
You
"No, you're
drink
right."
multiple Cokes.
Oh, you know,
It's
I love
the
my
sugar.
I love my regular sugar
It's
Cokes.
not the caffeine, it's the sugar.
But I can't get the regular sugar anywhere other than there, unless I get the Mexican ones from the grocery store.
No, I'm just saying, like drinking multiple Cokes, like it's
I get
already
it.
tons of sugar with
The other
one
thing that
drink.
sets me back is, well, here's the deal.
I don't put anything in my espresso. I don't put
Okay,
milk or
fine.
sugar. I
All
just
right.
drink it.
This is a battle I've lost. But
Conceded.
so water at restaurants is like $2 for a bottle of water.
$2.50.
But you can get a Coke for like $3.50, which I admit is kind of expensive. But I'm like, if I'm going to pay $2 for water, I might as well just pay the extra for Coke. But anyways, let's go back
But
to
you
our.
drink water because it's good for you.
That's true.
And
Drink
hydrating.
water because it's good for you folks.
Okay, no, Cody's save that for Cody's combo.
Cody's combos.
Yay!
Chirp, 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 chirp.
Yeah.
Anyways, blow the dust off.
Yeah.
Our last day, we get onto the plane. Smooth sailing. I had a great time on the plane. I got 2 of our videos edited, and I took it. I fell asleep instantly. We got on the plane for about 30 minutes, and then they came by with like food or whatever, and we had another delicious meal. In this case, I think it was it was chicken, jerk chicken,
Rice.
and rice and
Rice
beans.
and kidney
Very
beans.
good. But then I got 2 videos edited, and then I think I watched some Better Call Saul, and like by then, like we were like done. And
Yeah.
it was crazy for me because like the trip down where we had to sleep on the plane, I felt so restless. Like I just wanted to put my legs up, and I was so frustrated.
And that's how I felt on the way home.
But the way home, I could have sat there for 2 more hours.
No.
Which is good because when we got off the plane, first of all, we lucked out in Philadelphia because there was these crazy storms and no one was in like the checking in area.
The customs, yeah.
We blazed through that.
Yeah, that was very nice because I've spent over an hour in customs usually.
Oh, Clark wants to say something.
What's up, babe?
Also, when me and Mom were about to fall asleep, lady comes around and was like, ice cream.
Yeah.
And that
I
woke
was
me up.
I was gonna take a nap, and just as I was trying to take a nap,
Just
it was
before I
really
fell
loud,
asleep.
and the lady came by with ice cream. I was like, oh, well, I gotta eat ice cream. So
You have to, right?
No turning down ice cream.
that's right.
But yeah, it was all good. We got off the plane. We go outside. A parking spot van goes by, and I'm like, oh crap, we just missed him. So I get my phone out to get on the app because all you have to do is just mark that you're here. But when you know it, another one's right behind him. Picks us up. We're the only people on it.
Yep.
Drives us right to our
Directly to
car.
our car. That was
takes
cool.
our suitcases off and puts them right beside the car for us. I was just like blown away by the
Yeah.
experience with those guys. Like I want them
really
to
neat.
sponsor the video because I want to like hype them.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
But then things got a little sketchy on the way out because we were leaving Philadelphia at rush hour on Friday evening.
and thunderstorms.
And some of the roads were flooded. Like we had to
Yeah.
switch lanes to get out of the floodwaters,
Mm-hmm.
and probably drove through some stuff that you shouldn't drive through. But we got out of that. It rained the whole way home.
Yeah.
We stopped at Sheets, got some deliciousness.
Oh yeah, we got.
They did.
We got some pickle fries. They were baller. We also got these wings with Coca-Cola.
Dr. Pepper bar-
Dr. Pepper barbecue.
They didn't
sauce.
have any buffalo sauce. I was literally starving. Like I was dreaming about food as I'm driving, and I was still doing good. Like these guys were. Clark crashed out. Cody was falling asleep, but I felt so good. Even after the super long day, because we'd gotten up at 7:00 that morning, been an 8.5 hour flight, and then plus extra bonus time of 3 hours of waiting, and then getting off there, and then 3 hours driving home. And like I saw a sign that said Burger King exit 242. I still remember it. It was like 10 miles away, and I'm like, dude, I gotta get to that
ridiculous.
Burger King. And then it started dumping rain. And I'm like, forget it, because these guys were asleep, and I didn't want to wake you up. So I kept driving. We ended up going to Sheets, and like we ate that while we were driving home. Made it home, and I fell asleep instantly.
And the next day, I woke up at 1:00 in the morning of my sleep schedule, and I also slept a lot on the car ride, like
Yeah.
2 hours.
Then
Yeah,
I
we
came
went
down
back
at
to sleep, and then you guys were both up by 3.
I came down at, this is the day after, we're on day 13 now. I came down at 3:00 in the
home.
morning to get a pillow because I was just going to come out here in the front room and sleep. And then Clark pops up, and I'm like, okay, I guess we're awake. So we were awake all day. We're recording this Sunday, hours before it's going out. We were up all day, and then Clark and I fell asleep last night very early. And today we got up at 4. So we're slowly getting back to our regular schedule.
Yep, little by little.
Almost at 6 p.m. again.
It was all good.
Not 6 p.m. 6
But anyways,
a.m., not
that
PM.
was our trip to Rome,
And home.
Florence, Venice.
That's home.
It was
We did
an,
a day trip into Tuscany,
it was
Pisa
an
area.
epic trip.
It was.
Day
I
trip home.
It was a lot of work planning it, and it was worth it. I felt like thorough planning helped make it go smoothly.
Yeah, you did a great job. And I got to go along for the ride. I got a whole bunch of videos that I filmed, and it's like my souvenirs. I'm
If
excited.
you're planning a trip to Italy, I definitely recommend the Rick Steves book. That helped a lot.
Okay.
Rick Steve.
But yeah, that was fun. And I thought it'd be cool today, like just to sit down and have this conversation to recap it. Maybe someday we'll listen back on this and remember these things.
Yeah.
And I knew it'd be better if all of us did this together as opposed to me just sitting down and being like, so, because I don't know. I can't remember anything that I didn't edit. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was a trip of a lifetime, and I'm so grateful for the experience, and I'm grateful to be able to share it with you guys.
Same.
Same.
All right. Well, that's a wrap for today's podcast. Thanks for casting with me, guys.
You're welcome.
Hope to see you guys in the next Pizza Pasta Italy trip.